Yes, nice to meet you too. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Had to mess with my sleep schedule a bit to make this, but worth it.
Oh, really? Are you NA?
Yes, it's 6 a.m. here for me, so very
6
early.
a.m. Oi, oi, oi. Yeah, I was thinking like
Yeah.
other times like doable for the NA people, uh, because I don't really know. I'm basically doing from my 2 p.m. all the way to the midnight. So I was thinking maybe like those times fit with fit with NA people as well, but I actually don't know. I haven't checked.
I think they actually do. It's just my sleep schedule in particular is a little crazy.
Yeah,
So
okay, yeah. I can understand that.
I wouldn't use mine as a basis or anything.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just looking. Did you probably? I think I remember you posting something in introduce yourself channel. I'm just looking for that. To get some basics.
Yes.
So you play an NA. What's your league name?
DMAC 99.
Uh,
So same as the user, just without the underscore.
Yep. Platinum 4. Kayn.
Yes.
Yep. So what are your goals for the season?
Right now I just kind of am looking to hit high elo currently, like D2 or above,
Hmm.
which is going to be a very long climb. But basically, I got a pretty decently, and which obviously doesn't count for rank, but I did get a pretty decently high memoir norms, and I kind of wanted to be a little bit more competitive with the game after that. So
Okay.
I went into rank, started trying to grind that. Got a
Yep.
little bit, just a little bit stuck right now in plat. Not exactly sure what I should do to get past it. So
Yep. I mean, the way I think about like wanting to move up in the ranks in league is it's always about improvement. So I wouldn't worry too much about like uh,
gotcha.
choosing like my MMR up or whatever like that. I was just like try to focus on the improvement and the LP will naturally follow, you know?
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think Diamond definitely could be doable. I think it's a manageable goal. Diamond 2 maybe as well. I would probably look at I'd be probably placing that goal around the end of season around there probably.
Gotcha.
But yeah, am I streaming yet? No, I'm not streaming. Did you also link your VOD already? Oh, is
Yeah, it's linked.
all right, good. Let me
It's
look at what see
gotcha.
if it is.
Uh, in advance, I had my mic on the VOD just in case it was easier so you could just hear my thoughts as I was playing the game, as well as talking about here. But if that's like not needed, then I guess you could just mute the audio. But yeah, it has
Yep.
such.
Mm, how recent is it? Can you remember the game? I mean, that's
Oh
obviously
yeah, yeah, I could remember the game.
okay.
I just
Then
did
we'll
that as
just
kind
play
of
it
like a
on you.
precaution, but
Yep.
basically.
Okay. Yeah, I was just looking through your BGG here. What else is there? Set by ranked solo. Obviously, tricking a lot to Kayn. I like that. Also, Kayn is getting buffed next patch. Blue buff, blue Kayn. Pretty exciting.
I'm a little bit hot for that.
Yep.
And that was a really bad loss streak there.
Yep. Yep. I mean, it's what happens. Sometimes you go on lost streaks, but the way I want you to remember when you go on these like lost streaks or even when you go on win streak, it's like that 1 week or like that one big streak. It doesn't really determine like your overall career. Like this game is kind of a solo queue improvement is a marathon or a sprint.
Yeah, it kind of sucks to look at, but it's not something you should like beat yourself up for, I guess.
Yep, exactly. I mean, obviously, it gets disheartening when you go on like big lose streaks or whatever. Like, or for example, if you something you see a lot of people do is they like peak somewhere. For example, they peak D2 and then they follow all the way back to like Platinum 1 or something like that. Then they get like really frustrated and they start to think like, oh, but I'm really a D2 player. And it's just important to like kind of keep yourself in check. Like think of the uh, your current rank as like your current skill level. It's just about if you get better. I mean, when you get better, you will climb. Like it's not a big of a deal to think about. Just try not to like kind of clinch on those highs or those lows, you know?
Yeah, I understand.
All right. So what are we thinking about this game, these matchups and whatnot this game?
Yeah, so with the way the meta kind of is right now, my first thought process was starting top and trying to path bot like 3 camp to try to get an early bot gank if possible.
Mhm.
If not, just go back, clear my bulls, maybe look for something mid if there's something there. But my first instinct was just kind of trying to get bot because I figured it's kind of like a 50-50 on who shoves there. But I think the enemy bot lane has a little bit of a more shove potential just because Lux has that ignite. She's probably looking to be a little bit aggressive,
Mhm.
but it could go kind of either way. Also, I didn't really think an early gank into Shin would be that important, mainly because if he gets shoved under, it's super hard to dive him because he can just throw that field up, which causes
Yep.
autos to miss and just hop one of us under the turret, and we're kind of screwed. So
Yep.
yeah, that was my first instinct, just try to start top, path bot.
Yep. And yeah, that's important that you kind of think about the Shen matchup, especially like so the way I also view a lot of top laners is that they usually run TP. So for example, if this Elise ends up patting top after all, and this guy gets dove, it's not that big of a deal because this guy can just TP back and they don't really lose that much. But what you basically need to do after they if this Elise does gank top here, Shen has to use TP. What Elise players always want to do is they want to punish the TP and they kind of like want to go for the regank. So that's when you could look towards like kind of trying to counter gank the Shen dive if that happens. Another thing about this matchup is that I don't want you to default to the I'll just bat bot because that's what people do. Like what you were thinking at the start is like do three camps on the red side, get level 3, then you can look for all the options and it's not going on, then move on. Like that's a really good trend and like a really good practice to have in the game. But like, don't just default to the I'll just bat bot. I mean it's kind of like a good default idea, but you always want to think about like what's gonna happen top. Like for example, Shen has really good gank setup, but on the other hand, again this guy has also TP. It's not that impactful of a gank, even if you get a kill. I mean you do get gold, but it's kind of hard to gank because Gna obviously has to jump. He's a really hard laner to catch, and he can stay relatively safe as a ranged top laner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Also, another thing you want to think about when you have these ranged top laners is that they always get the push. So, for example, you do 3 camps. What I expect to happen in the top lane is that Kna is already pushing up. So, yeah, that's another option you can look out for. I'm just going to write it down because I think it's really important to think
Got it.
about in these early pathing options. Ranged top laners versus melee. Ranged will always win the push. Also, yeah, the other thing is you kind of want to think about when you go for a gank, you want to go for like high quality ganks which hurt the enemy the most or gain you the most, you know? So that's something to consider when laners have TP.
Got it. Yeah, the TP thing definitely went over my head. So yeah,
Yep. Okay, but does it gank? So basically, how I think about this matchup is that I'm I'm definitely willing to gank the laners who have TP. Like I have no issue with it because at least they have to use TP. But for example, it has to be pretty high percentage that I get the kill at least for me to even go there. Because if I don't get the kill, there's recall and TP back, and then it's just like we just spend a lot of time in top lane, and then this Elise has like all the freedom on the bot side of the map, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So it's always go for high probability ganks, especially when they have TP. High probability ganks on TP laners. Yep. Also, mid matchup is something which will go. They like to trade a lot to melee assassins with ignite electrocute. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of trading. But then again, the important thing about ganking Katarina is you never want to gank as the next wave arrives because then she will just jump away. So I'll definitely keep my eye on the mid lane as well, especially during the early level. Kind of look for the trades.
Yeah, that was my main thing about ganking mid is I kind of thought it would just be a really hard lane to gank unless it's really set up pretty well, just because
Yep.
of all that mobility.
That's another thing to consider in these like pre-game phases is double melee, double ignite, double offensive keystone equals a lot of trading. Maybe gank
Got it.
options for you. Gank options. Um, yep. I wouldn't talk too much about this bot lane, but your bot lane is here gonna get the push. They have two really high range characters. Ezreal, xeraths usually get the push in these type of lanes. But then again, I wouldn't worry too much about what matchups because they are so dynamic, and it's kind of something you want to start worrying about later on in the journey. But yep, I mean the basic things are double melee, double ignite. Top lane gets the push here because he's playing range top laner. So yep, something to look towards. Also, another thing is when you want to path towards bot, uh, something I do a lot is I do 3 camps. If I get a gank up top, I go for the top gank, I recall instantly and run back to bottom to kind of counter the Elise play if she's trying to make a play there, or for example dive here. So for
Uh,
example,
so you just uh, so you just full clear your top and then okay,
yep. I mean,
got it.
full clear top side, kind of get the level 3 going on, and then you look for all the options because that's a really popular pathing right now. Last season we did a lot of Red Raptors Cromp, and that kind of gave us the most options. But this season it's just so much easier to take these cracks, so might as well just get the level 3 here, and then like we just look everywhere for options. If nothing's going on top or mid, then we just keep on the full clear, you know?
Got it.
So
Okay.
that's a pretty basic game plan. So especially on these champions who kind of unlock taking level 3, such as Kayn, just always look for the level 3. When you get level 3, just always look out for, oh, can I do something right now?
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because I actually did red buff, blue buff Gromp here, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that at all because the other thing that does is, for example, if you're thinking about like kind of denying the bot lane play here with the pathing, it takes you longer to do red, blue, Cromp than it takes you to do red, Crux, Raptors, and run bot anyway. You know, so
Got it.
and that's a
Actually,
new
I
thing
did.
we have in season 13. It's just like usually what we want to do as jungler is just take the 3 camps on the same side, and then we can look out for what the fuck we want to do next.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind. I didn't even think about that
There's
because I
some
used to do
variants
that
to
a
that.
lot.
Yeah, there's some variants to that, but I really wouldn't worry about it. I would just like do the 3 camps every time, and then I would look everywhere and just keep on going. But I really wouldn't like overcomplicate things. So for example, if you do what's like, for example, like challenger thoughts of so like Karasma or whatever, like whoever likes to play, like they can kind of do kind of crazy pathing, but it's like they are analyzing the game a lot differently. So I would just do the 3 camps, keep it simple, just look everywhere, and then if nothing's going on, then just keep clearing. Yep.
Got it.
So we're covering for an invade. Nice.
Yeah, actually, I think I did red buff Raptors Gromp this game, not red blue Gromp. Now that I remember correctly.
Yep. Yep. I mean, last season it was definitely way faster to do that, but this season the Crux is just so much easier to take. So just go for the Crux.
Yeah, it's a little bit less efficient now,
Yep.
or just not more.
Yep. And another thing is that we like to do the Cromp third last season because it gave us a lot of health, so we were max health. But now you actually lose a bit of health doing this Cromp here because it's such raid boss, especially when you probably go E level 2 on Kayn. I don't know if you go for this pattern, you might actually take W. But anyway, like the Cromp isn't that impactful anymore. Like we really don't like the Cromp anymore this season. Like that's basically the main thing here.
But
Without please, I would probably start Raptors, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. Okay, Elise getting released on the bot lane. Yep. Good. We ping the location. Yep, that's really important that we always look out for where the enemy gets leashed. Yep, enemy bot lane is pushing here. Awesome. I like these peeps. We are looking at the lane state. We are kind of looking like, okay, they're pushing up, they're pushing up. But also another thing I would like to add is always when you look out for these, like you always want to look out for the lane you want to gank, right? But the other thing is when you cross map to the other side of the jungle, important thing is I always want to look at this lane as well before I leave the side uh, of the nearby lane, for example top here, before I go so far away. I want to like kind of see what's going on here. So at least if
Got it.
you are not actually peeping the lane, just at least look at the health bars. So obviously there's nothing going on there right now, but it's like good practice. It's always
Yeah,
mm,
just to get some more
yep.
information. It's always helpful.
Yep, so you can it helps you better assess like where I want to be, Better switch sides in jungle. Check the nearby lane before you pad too far away from it. So what happens a lot of the time is like people go to for example Crump here, or if they did Red Croc Raptors, they go to Wolves and they're like, oh shit, now my top lane's fighting. But then you are all the way already here and like maybe you could have seen that coming. So it's just an important thing. Always check out the lane before you leave it. Yep, we are looking at some mid action here.
Yeah, I make a pretty iffy play here in advance.
There's really nothing we can do level 2.
Yeah, I kind of target the wrong person. A little bit of a misplay on my part. Should just gone kill else instantly there.
Yeah. So okay, so the important lesson here is that we want to check who can Xerath attack here. You know, Xerath doesn't have access to
Yeah,
this Lux here at all. So you always want to like kind of focus fire the enemy who you can or who your teammates can help you kill him with.
yes, definitely. Is like I got the kill, but I definitely could have got out alive if I hadn't made that mistake.
Yep, and this is really important in these early game skirmishes and ganks. Like if this guy's already like ditching out the play, like obviously you can hit her, but this guy obviously can't. So what you want to do is you always want to focus to one guy you actually can both of you can hit.
Right. Yes.
So basically what this does, when you go for this Lux, basically these two can hit you, but you can only hit Lux, and then Xerath can only hit Aphelios. So it goes bad. It's like kind of a 2v1, and then like the Xerath is just trying to kind of help you, but it's just trying to focus
Yeah.
fire.
It's kind of like distributing your damage unevenly while they're just getting to
Yep.
2v1 throw everything on you.
Keep in mind who your teammates can help you kill, like I said, with strength, focus fire the same target. Yep. So obviously in later stages of the game, then you, for example, you play Assassin Kayn here, and then you have like the one target you really want to kill. Then it really isn't that important because you have the damage to kill them anyway. But this is like super important for this early game ganks and skirmishes to like hit the guy everyone in your team like potentially can hit. Yep, obviously good mechanical play here otherwise, like with everything here. Q, W, awesome. Yep. I would just wait for my longsword here. We are missing 5 gold. So
Got it.
basically, yeah. So basically, the base rule I have for waiting gold is unless I like really have like a good reason to, the map is really calm or something. I draw the line at 15 gold. And obviously, longsword here is better than boots because you want more damage. Because now what
Makes
we want to
sense.
do
Yes.
is we kind of want to find the elise here next, for example, on mid gank or on the scuttle, because again we have base, we have spent gold, we are stronger than the elise.
Would you
There's
have
an,
like full on engaged her there, or would you have backed
mm,
off?
no, I wouldn't full on engage. But what I would do is that we obviously know where the enemy jungler is because we tracked her starting on the top side. She hasn't shown anywhere here, so I would just like danger ping in this area because the thing is, you as a jungler, you know where the enemy jungler is like a lot of the time, but your laners they have zero clue whatsoever. So this kind of help them because I would be scared of this Elise ganking Diana here, for example. Diana is really like pushed up, really in a bad place. So if this Elise decides to rock up here, it's kind of like a bad place. And then the other thing is that this guy actually doesn't know. Laners ignore the jungler all the fucking time. They just don't fucking know. Someone's tracking jungler. Someone's tracking jungler. Keep pinging where they are. Especially when you know, like at this point, we should know where she is. You know, like you don't want to
Got
like
it.
pay up and kind of like give fake information if you are not absolutely sure. But then again, like we patted bot side, she patted bot side. We should be expecting to meet her here, or like at least know where she is. So just ping it, tell your laners. Place a ward, Tiki blue. So what we could have done is again like kind of being our intention. So for example, this guy shows here, she took your blue, Scarlet is spawning up, your mid lane kind of has the prior here. You could maybe just look to fight here with your Diana. But again,
Got it.
we are not really picking the intention. Actually we are not even thinking of it. But just in case, like in general, always when you want to kind of like have your teammates help you, you always need to ping them your intentions.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Another thing is, for example, if this guy starts moving like this and you don't want to fight, just like ping that I'm going to walls, you know? Just like a general rule, always ping your intentions.
Makes sense.
He shows up. Yep, xeraths is here. Okay. I wanna see if we could do something with this wave. Probably not. So we do peep it. I want to see what's going on. But yeah, so this is another lesson. When you lane gets solo killed, what happens is that the enemy lane always wants to push in the wave. So for example, you could try to maybe punish that. You could try to kind of stick around, maybe look for them to blow their cooldowns or the wave or something like that, and then you could like try to kill them. You know, so like
Hmm.
kind of like lane behavior is always pushing the wave. They always want to push in the wave, especially after getting kills.
Got it.
So another thing you could do, for example, if you wear this Elise, what I would do is I would help my Katarina push in the wave. So again, Katarina would be protected from you trying to gank it. So if your laner gets the kill on the other hand, help them shove the wave. You know?
Got it. Yeah, and I've realized now I definitely could have like challenged that way considering how low Katarina was there. I
Yeah,
sort of just
yeah. But then again, I don't really think we get a kill here because even if she does use QW, for example, here you show up, she's gonna E here and run away. You know, like, but the thing with
yeah.
what it achieves is that now this Diana has control of the wave because she has tempo on the wave, and then like this guy, she just gets pissed, you know. So then she's just like, ah, fucking jungle deep. Why didn't Elise help me shop, you know? So it's still a good play, for example, for you to try to stop her, but I don't think you get to kill her here.
Mhm.
Have to use laner shove after ganks, solo kills, stuff like that. And and look to punish enemy laners uh, who want to push in the wave. Yep, we just want to hit level 4 now. So you can see how this Katarina only starts free calling after she gets a wave in, you know? Like it's like, how I like to put it is like dead taxes and push the wave. It's kind of like the laner's mentality. It's always like certain.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got a little bit surprised by Elise there.
Yep, now we have to kind of stick around to protect the dive. But I think there's a missed opportunity here is that so again, kind of like mistracking the enemy jungler. They done with the bot side. They have done all the bot side camps. We are heading back to the top side. Enemy jungle started top side. where's the enemy jungle gonna be? Most likely they're gonna be on the same side as you if you like go back to your leveled up camps here, you know. So and we
Mhm.
see her like move the river up here, so it's really not that like that she's gonna end up on the bot side of the map, especially when we know that she has no camps up. So what we could look towards doing is maybe we could punish this bot lane here, like being unprotected and they're pushing in the wave.
Got it.
And also another like tracking default position is that when you head back to your respawn camps, that usually means that the enemy jungler is also back on their respawn camps. So it's kind of like acts as a baseline for the level one. You know, like what happened level one? Oh, we start on the same side. What's gonna happen when the camps respawn again? Oh, we're probably on the same side. You know, and that's
Yeah, makes
that.
sense.
Yeah, and that's also the same for buffs. Like because people usually can track pretty well up until this point, but then they like kind of get confused and they kind of like forget about it. But what you can also use as like a baseline is when your first buff spawns. That usually means that enemy jungler is also on their first buff. You know, so your red spawns and you're hitting red, that usually means the enemy jungler is on red.
Got it.
And also the important thing to recognize here is that we are matching the enemy jungler. You know, throughout the game, we started on top side, we went bot side, we kind of like had some action in the bot side, and now we are like moving mid, and the natural transition is to move top. So we have to recognize that we are matching the enemy jungler. We've been like going after our camps, and we have always met the elise there. So that should kind of like tell us that okay, I think we are just like matching with this guy. So how we could have
Yeah.
recognize, so how we could have utilize that knowledge here is that we could have tried to punish this bot gang. For example, when Ezreal comes back and xeraths roams down, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I didn't even think about going bot line there.
Yep. I mean, I still like this. We go for the safe option, which is the camp, get level 4. Just kind of like get some XP going. But this gank here is really dangerous because we should be expecting at least to be topside here. These respawn camps as baseline and second buff. We started blue. Elise started. Oh wait, we started red. We started red. Elise started blue. We're gonna be around the same time at 7 minutes. I don't know. I don't want to overcomplicate that thing, but like what I want to get across is that we have topside camps respawning. She started topside. She's probably gonna be topside.
Yeah, no, I understand. Just
Yep.
keep camp timers in mind for things like this.
Yep. Yep. Get some mobs here. Good. Yep, but now we just have to try to protect the dive. Elise is a really good diver. Also, another important cool kind of like a timer in the game is that when you for example go for these kind of plays in the top side that the enemy top lane is 5 and you're like, oh, when will they get 6, will they get 6 here? It's usually around the 550 wave or 6 minute wave. So Solenness usually hit level 6 at 6 minutes mark. So that's something you want to consider. For example, this guy Kna solo kills your Shen and you're like, oh, can I kill them? And then you go and then they suddenly get 6 and you're like, oh fuck, that's so lucky. But like it's usually based on the timer in the game.
Got it. All right. Yeah. I'll definitely keep that in mind for
Yep.
sure.
And bot lanes on the other hand, bot lanes hit 6 around 8 to 9 minutes. Usually it's around 8:30. So I'm just gonna type 8:30. Go back to camps. Good stuff. Bot lane fighting, nothing really exciting going on. So see our camps. Good. Awesome. Actually, I want to see the enemy CS. So it's another thing you also want to kind of keep track of is the enemy CS. Obviously, that can also kind of overcomplicate things. But I think that's something you need to start considering when you want to start pushing towards diamond ranks. I kind of keep the tab on the CS because especially these kind of junglers like Elise, she likes to show up on the map a lot. Like kind of go for the ganks and stuff. So when you see her, it's just like check how much CS does he have. Every camp gives 4 CS. So then, for example, you see her later, you can kind of like start to predict like, oh, which camp has she done?
And you can kind of invite the punish too, just
Yep,
to counter her purple ganks.
yep. Another important thing we came across in the top lane is that we need to know that the Elise hasn't actually recalled at all. So what she's gonna do at 5 minutes into the game, Elise is gonna recall. Do we have any immediate action we can do at this time? Because again, like junglers really don't want to stay on the map for too long. Usually they at least start recalling around 6 minutes, 5 minutes. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Isn't recalled. Probably will recall after several successful ganks. She ganked the mid lane. Did she get a gank in bottom lane or whatever? Like they've been a really long sequence here. Elison's recall probably will recall. You want to recognize that. So again, it comes to like checking tab and actually looking for what you want to see. I know a lot of people just want to look at the tab, check the tab. All the players do this. So, it's just like gotta look out for these things. Have your laners, for example, recalled when you go for top ganks at this minute or like 6 minutes in the game. Like you're like, oh, my top player is level 6, but then you go for the gank, you have no damage, and then you're like, what the fuck? And then you check tab and they only have Doran shield.
But yeah,
So in
just
general,
being a little bit more mindful with that.
yep, general rule, like people usually uh people people start recalling uh, around 5 6 minutes. So if they, for example, have been in a really kind of like a peaceful lane, they haven't died anything, they they usually stay on the map. For example, if none of these mid laners died, they will still be on the map. So that's something you want to like keep in mind when you're looking for fights and stuff like that. For example, we fight for the next scuttle. Diana has it recalled. She doesn't really want to come, even if she has prio, because she only has like Doran's Finger or whatever. So that's that kind of stuff you need to start considering. You know, instead of just like, oh, I have prio. Diana is level 6. Let's go, but she only has fucking Doran's Ring. And then Katarina
Yeah,
rolls
it's a
out from
little
base.
bit deeper than that.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep. So here would have been a really good situation if the wave wasn't uh, this close. We are really nearby. Our laner gets a solo kill. Help this guy shove the wave. Because otherwise he's going to be such a freebie for the Elise coming from the bottom side of the map. So yeah,
Got
but
it. Yeah.
obvious the wave is already in, so it's not really applicable in this situation. But she's really low. She still wants to push in the wave. It's like fucking always. So just go help them. Even if they do recall and the wave is kind of like freezing or whatever, I would just push it in myself. So what that does is that the enemy laner does like they lose CS, of course, they lose XP, and the most important thing is when you crash waves like this, what's gonna happen is it's gonna start slow pushing into the opposite side. So that kind of like leaves helps Diana remain safe from getting ganked because she will actually be kind of free hitting minions under her own turret after getting this crash in. So that's why laners always want to crash in because that ensures them that they can like come back to the lane and they can play in a safe position. Okay. Defense going on again. We have arrived at bottom side of the map. We could also start expecting that LA is going to be bottom side of the map. Yep, I'll kind of be afraid of this brush here, and also, yep, good thing when you enter river, of course, on Kayn, just hold on to your E. Yep,
Yeah,
so at
so
least one
another
spot
reason
side.
I went for that scuttle crab there was I saw Xerath was roaming down and Diana seemed pretty strong, so I wasn't too scared of Elise. But yeah, that
Yeah, but I mean,
rush
if Elise
positioning.
is in this brush, she just kills you and rush away. So it's kind of
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So when you have this like prior, like people rotating to you, what you need to do is you actually need to like kind of wait for them. So this kind of comes back to what we talked about in the first gank. Like if Elise is here, can this xerath even help you when she's all the way here? When she's all the way here, you know, at like mid tier 3, she really can't. So
got it.
yep,
Just playing a bit slower.
yep. Okay, Elise shows bottom. We start moving really close to 6. Yep, good. We decide against that again. We have nothing but longsword and boots. We are really not that strong. Of 6. So what I would do now, mm, actually I kind of like that you look for the immediate option here. Yeah. So what I would do is different, but I like what you do here. So what we kind of can recognize from this play is that um, Elise makes a play, look for immediate action elsewhere, because now we are like absolutely sure that this Elise cannot counter gank us here. Like she hasn't, like we just beat her to the gank every time, you know. So that's what I like about this. We are kind of looking for the immediate play elsewhere because the Elise cannot do anything to us.
Yep.
So that's a good
Yes.
thing. But what I would do here is I would just E over this wall and hold this wave instead, because these guys again, they taxes and push the wave. They're gonna push in the next wave. It's gonna be a cannon wave. It's gonna be around like 150 gold. You'll get level 6. I just really want to hold the next wave because these guys will absolutely shove in the wave. So
Got
yeah,
it.
yeah, just like again the tournament rule, laners will always push in the wave after getting kills. So yeah, obviously what ends up happening is that we kind of lose gold and we lose XP to the turret, and obviously we kind of shadow for the mid lane play here. But again, like what do we what do we do? What do we see here is that it's kind of like a full Elise, Katarina out of the turret. We are even not level 6. I probably wouldn't be looking forward to this dive, you know?
Like a 50-50. You're not really
Yeah, it's kind of
sure
like
you
a coin
can
flip,
get
yeah.
that kill.
But this wave here, 200 gold, we get level 6, absolutely. That's like the opposite of coin flip. That's guaranteed, you know?
Got it.
So here we really
Yeah,
need to recall.
here
Okay, actually.
here I tried to like wait to gank mid for flash, but it gets engaged early and I sort of just waste a bit of time,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
So what I would do here in general, what we missed entirely here, I think, is we are really close to level 6. There's a wave coming here. Just pushing the wave with your Diana, kind of get there. Allow her to recall, and the important thing is we get level 6.
Got it.
Up down the shove the wave, allows her to recall without dying, and we get 6. So the important thing here is always look out for your XP. But the general rule is when you're this close, you're one camp of 6. Just don't look for players. Just look to get level 6. So in case something does happen, then we like have we we unlock another ability. So it's kind of like level 2, level 3 kind of situation. You know, level 6 is really important, obviously.
Definitely.
Getting good. Elise on the opposite side of the map. We are looking for the immediate play. Classic jungle diffy.
Yeah,
Yeah. For example,
troll just a little bit.
imagine we had 6 there. You know.
Yeah, just a free kills I can ult right after him. Instead, I'll wind up having to waste flash here to kill him when I could have just ult killed him.
Yep. Yep, obviously it's fine. So what I like about this is again, we have exact confirmation on the Elise's location. Look out for the immediate play. This is really good stuff, and this is something I want you to apply in your future games as well. You see the enemy jungler make a play, we cannot make it to there. Just always look out for the immediate player.
Got it.
Is look for immediate action elsewhere. One camp of 6. Prioritize getting level 6 to unlock your ability. Good. Yep, but now I really want to recall. I really don't want to go for this. Go for this. Let's see, actually, do we get away with it? At least actually stays at the map, so we do end up getting away with it. But basically what I am kind of afraid of here, Elise takes the trade against it's been on the map for a long time. I suspect head recall here. You know? And then we kind of
Yeah,
like so this what people talk about when they talk about jungle tempo and tempo in this game is that right now we have all the tempo to do either invade these camps because Elise is on the opposite of the map. We have tempo to make it to this gank. So basically, when we decide on an action, think of it like having as a move. Like we have one tempo move basically. We use our tempo move
mhm.
to kill this guy here. It kind of extends as well. Like this is like where we used our tempo. This is what we did with our move. So basically now Elise is coming back to the map. She's coming back to this Carol or this Crump. And again, 8 minutes we have a long sword. Not really ideal to be here, you know?
So yeah, you would just get out instantly.
Yeah, because I would be really afraid of this. Uh, this Elise just recalling instantly and then come back to the map. But so again, like the thing I like about this is that again we had excellent information on the enemy jungler. We look out for the immediate play. So this is literally what people talk about when they talk about tempo, and tempo is like really important when you move. Uh, kind of like start improving throughout the ladder because obviously Elise has nothing to do here. It doesn't matter if Elise is like a 1000 LP challenger. If you make a tempo play or if you have the tempo on something, Elise has nothing to do with that. You know.
Exactly. Yes. It's just like you can kind of get away with it without
Yep,
she can't
exactly.
really
Because
respond to it.
yeah, they have no response. Like, I mean, they do have, for example, other options like they can look to gank this or take your blue, or whatever. But at least they cannot make it to like deny you from what you are planning to do here. You know?
Yeah, like there's no possible way she's just gonna like blink to the
Exactly,
map and
exactly.
show up in front of you.
Yeah. So that's kind of the idea with me saying, uh, we know where the enemy jungler is. Look for immediate action elsewhere. That's like how we use the tempo advantage we have. Because again, like think of it as I think of tempo as having like moves in the game, like kind of like a chessboard. Think of tempo as having a move. So, for example, Elise ganks bottom lane here. You are in the river. She used her move to gank this bottom lane, and now she has no move left. Like she has to her move like goes on a cooldown, you know. But you have a move to either go top mid here to gank the mid, like you were looking for the Diana or the Katarina kill, or you have a move to, for example, invade or look for top play, you know.
Got it. Yeah, that's actually a really good analogy. Yeah, I'll
Yep.
keep that in mind for sure.
What was I gonna say? Think of them as having move. When you use your move, it goes on a cooldown. Same for enemy. I think that is so important. But I think I explained it better than I typed it down. So I hope you get it. Yep. So basically, this is
Yeah, no,
this is
don't
our
worry,
move.
definitely.
Yep. This is how we use that move. Obviously, this
Yeah,
ends up
so
yeah. So obviously, this ends up working out because Elise actually didn't recall at all, and just came to middle. Went to middle. But again, like we don't want to think. We don't want to think based on results. We want to think based on like how probable it is for us to get away with it. You know, like it's all about
yeah,
consistency in League of Legends. You know. So
so
yep,
basically, it's basically the only reason I got away with that is like Elise used another move mid lane, but she
yep,
recalled and came over here. I would have been a little bit in trouble.
yep, yep.
Right,
So
yeah, that makes
again,
a lot of sense.
I would just not be hitting here because like so another general rule I would just give you is that um, for example on Kayn especially when you're playing Assassin Kayn you want to recall on the Dirk. I don't know if you play Eclipse on Red Kayn, but like in general. Um, we have a lot of gold here. It's 8 minutes in the game, but it's not so much about we have a lot of gold. But the most important thing is we haven't spent a lot of gold. You know, like we are so
Yes.
fucking weak at this time of the game. Go base, spend your gold. So the general rule I would give you is that when you're playing Assassin Kayn, just like always when you find yourself having that 1100 gold, for example, out of base, so like always look for okay, how can I recall ASAP to spend this gold because that's your power spike, you know.
Got it. So just look into that ASAP, then
Yep.
back on the map.
We're on the map with longsword at 9 minutes. We are like because if you think about like how fast you can get a longsword, you do these three camps and like actually not anymore. But last season you could do these three camps, you could recall, you could have a longsword, and then it would be on back of the map. Literally at 2 minutes of the game, like 3 minutes of the game. And now we have kind of like we are on the map with the longsword at 9 minutes. Like we are so fucking weak. It's like
Yeah, just a
kind of
little
sad.
bit troll. Just
Yeah.
a little bit troll.
And the biggest thing here is that like so the reason why this is so replicable, just recalling in Dirk, is that now if like elise ganks here and it like goes really bad, but we can't really do much because we have only this longsword, you know. So you are way more ready to react on the map when you have like spent your gold because you obviously get a lot stronger.
Got it. Yeah, even here she has like that alternator, which is way more valuable.
Yep. I was gonna talk a few things about this tempo play we had on the top side. Elise spent the move taking dragon. We used ours to gank top. Okay, go base, penny gold. We are on the map with the longsword 9 minutes. We are really weak. So again, in general rule, recall on item slash component power spike. For example, the Dirk. For example, because now we are like, and now so what this ends up happening is like now we are like, ooh, okay, we have 900 gold, might as well just hit these caps since we are already here. So this is obviously a bad habit people have in jungle. They kind of like start greeting for the camps. Um, just recall spending gold because then you are more able to. For example, if you at least invade you here, you cannot do shit even if Shen ults you. Obviously, it doesn't ult, but like we just don't have the damage, so just recall on competent bomber spikes. So the Dirk is a really good example. For example,
Yeah, it's just a little bit of an oversight.
yep, yep. So exactly what's ended up happening. He can't stop. It kind of goes bad. They're kind of low. Maybe we could look for something, but again, we have a long sword.
Yeah, we have one.
Yeah,
We
like look at
have
this. Yeah, imagine we spend our gold. We could maybe kill Elise here as well. At least get away with that kill a lot faster. It's just like bad practice to not recall and internal to be. Like I
yeah.
know it like gets overwhelming when you like think about all this. Oh, what do I do? So just take it as a general rule. When you have the component power spike, just recall. Just look to recall instantly as soon as
Yeah,
possible.
because like it's crazy because like without pointing out to me, it's hard to see how troll that was. Because in my mind, I'm like, well, at least I traded a kill. But when you put it
Yep,
like that, it's like I could have traded a kill and possibly got out alive, or
yep,
at least would have died because my Q would have done more damage than the Xerath ult and turret probably would have been enough.
yep. And exactly again, we don't want to think result based. We want to think of like consistency based. Consistency based. So for example, like
Yes.
after we get this, so when I would have recalled is after we get this Knarkill here, for example, instantly, because then we could recall, we could come back to the top, we could even contest this Herald, you know? So it just gives us way more options when we recall and spend our gold. So that's kind of actually the main takeaway I wanted to have from this. When you use your gold, spending gold grants you more options on the map. And the other thing is when you recall and then you can like, do I need to be, you can again like assess, oh, where do I need to go? What do I need to do? For example, we had the Herald here, so we could like just like run down to Herald and kind of fight this Elise off it. Obviously, we get blue form here, really good. 10 minutes, it's not bad form. It's actually pretty good form. Yep. So now what we want to do again, we arrived at that moment when we actually become an assassin. Again, we have spent a lot of gold. Now we are like getting really strong. So now what I want you to do is just like punish the immobile bot lane as much as possible.
So you would just sit bot here and just keep killing them.
I mean, in general, what you want to do as Plukenis is kind of like Go go wherever you have you have kills. So basically, this comes down to assassin mindset and kind of like and role identity. Is you basically when you arrive to this position. So this is kind of different on Kayn because you only get this point like whenever you get form. But like what you want to do is you want to look at the tab and be like, okay, who's the easiest person for me to kill? Because how assassins like to play the game, they want to get picks, they want to kill people because obviously that's the one thing they are good at, like killing squishies. So so that's how you grow your lead on assassin junglers. So mine's role identity, target
Got it.
squishies.
Yeah. And Nar's not very
Yeah,
ideal because
yeah,
not only is he mobile, but he builds kind of tanky too. So it's
yeah,
just
exactly. Like
really
we don't
iffy.
want to go top anymore at all. Yeah, like this guy started to build HP. He might go like Tabas or some shit, like defensive boots, whatever. It's just really hard for us to gank. And like in general, how I think about this, like kind of like uh weak side champions, for example, something like tanky utility, exactly like Na and Shen, is that especially after they hit level 6, I just really don't want to go there unless I like have a really likely play to like or like a really likely way to get gold there.
Hmm.
So basically, on Discovery junglers in general, your main goal, get as much get as much gold as possible. Gold as possible. Usually through targeting the squishies. For example, in bot lane we have two squishies. Like it's something I really want to gank now that we got blue Kayn.
Yeah, definitely. It's also probably more of a win con to go bot too, because like you said, Shin
Yep.
after he gets 6, he's never gonna be like useless, even if he gets put
Yep,
a little
exactly.
bit
And
behind.
Shen has like global pressure on you here. That's also how I think about like something like GP. I don't really want to gank GP. He has zero gank setup for me, and especially if it's like a hard thing to gank. For example, Gnar, I just focus on. For example, again we see Elise here making a play on mid. She used her move there, but we could look out for. Ooh, no one is protecting this bot lane. So, always when you see the enemy jungler, think about, ooh, how can I respond to that? How can I respond to that? How can I get something out of her showing on the map? And how can I make that into a victory? Even if Diana dies here, like, ooh, can I maybe gank the bot lane here or something like that?
Yes.
Just always look out for the immediate play when you have information. Again, she's here. Ooh, maybe we can gank here because there's no way in hell she's gonna beat Blue Kayn as at least the bot lane when we are positioned like this.
Definitely not.
So I'm gonna check how much time we have here. We actually a bit of a time here. So yeah, I'm just gonna look out for some options here. What we end up doing. So do you have any questions about this game specifically, or some other aspects of the game? For example, late game, mid game stuff you want to cover? Is there like any questions about this game
Uh, I do have
specifically?
one question
Yeah.
because it's something like I
Look!
don't
What's gonna
really
happen?
have.
Oh, now we are targeting the squishies. This is perfect. This is perfect. This is what you want to do. I like that. I like that a lot. So we actually end up doing exactly that. But this is something we want to look out to. I look forward to doing when we get Kayn.
Got
Awesome.
it. Just want to
Gank the
always do that.
squishies. Yeah, just beautiful dive in general. Like we are really like on the edge of the third fence there. Some kind of squishies. You're an assassin. That's what we want to do. Yep. You had a question?
Oh yeah, so like in these kind of matches, like it wasn't really in this replay, but like games where kind of things are sort of just spiraling out of control. Like say you have like a bot lane that's really sinking. Uh, in your opinion, like what would you do to try to kind of like salvage that game? Would you just like play only top lane? Would you like
Okay.
play
So
try to get fed
yep.
top, then go bot, then shut them down, or like exactly would the correct play be there?
I was gonna actually make this my first point. Carry jungler's main goal always make as much gold as possible. So how I think about the game, especially when I'm playing carry junglers, is I don't really that much care like oh, do I need to help this guy? Do I need to help this guy? The only thing I really care about when I play carry junglers is what gives me the most gold. It's usually gank somewhere, and like there's also different ways to think about gold value. For example, you kill bot lane here. So let's just take that as an example. So so how I want you to think about gold values in this game is that we kill the bot lane here. Like, yep, we get like 600 gold, but what else we get is we deny them the next two waves. So that's like minus 200 from the enemy team as well, and then we get a few plates here. So instead of like being a solid 600 to 600 gold play, instead what we end up making the actual gold swing in this play is more towards 1.2 gain gold. You know, so
Got
it's
it.
also like kind of like denying gold also means like gaining gold for your team. But as like for example, if your bot is like really getting fisted here, I would just like to kind of like look for ways for myself to get strong, and then I would like try to utilize that lead to shut down the enemy team who's like being ahead, for example.
Makes sense.
But yeah, like for example, I really don't like how people sometimes say, "Ooh, this like never gank losing lane." Like it's just not true. Like for example, these guys are like facing your lane and they're they're like really low here. There's a dove your team. They're super low. So obviously go gank them because they are really low and you kill them, you know? So just
Yeah, grapple shutdowns.
yeah. Just like in general, like be really opportunistic. I wouldn't really try to worry about too much. The only thing I really want to focus on when I'm playing carry junglers is how do I make the most money? And for example, specifically bot lane situations is that how I approach them as a jungler is if my bot lane is getting fisted, what I do is I try to get 6 ASAP because again we go back to this time. Uh, this point here, solo lane is usually hit level 6 around 6 minutes. Bot lane is hit 6 around 8 minutes 30. So as a jungler, you are usually somewhere between this time, you know? For jungler, a really good level 6 is 6 minutes. Obviously, something which can happen to Katos players, for example, who clear really fast and they get a gank off. That's how you get level 6 in 6 minutes. But usually, a good timer, a solid timer for junglers to hit level 6, jungle level 6, usually around 7 minutes. So you can see how there's like this 90-second window when you have ult that the enemy bot doesn't have ult. So this is something uh, this is a timer I look to abuse when my bot lane's getting fisted. I look for ways to shut them down. Just get level 6. They don't have sixes yet. Maybe we can do something. You know.
Got it.
Yep. Get the Drake. You want to look at a team fight or something? We look at a team fight. Actually, we end up the game pretty fast. What's happening? How long is this what? We end the game 20 minutes. Is it an FF?
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the FF right around here.
Everyone dies here, I think. Let's see what happened. Okay, let's come for the Drake. We have Shenwold, awesome. We get the Drake, good. And then we start chasing the jungle, awesome. Yep. Also another thing about this mid game phase, when all the objectives are down, how I like to approach the game is I set myself like new objectives, for example. So the usual suspect for me is tier 2 on side lanes. Tier 2 side lanes are a good thing to like kind of like work towards in mid game because the tier 2 side lane turrets give double the gold compared to any other turret in the game. So tier 1 turrets all give 300 gold each. Tier 2 mid actually only gives 300, but the tier 2 here and here in the bottom top lane they give 600 gold. So that's something you look towards doing because obviously it's worth 2 kills. It's basically gives you the same gold as you got at that bot gank. So you can see how that's really good. Yeah, I think Aphelios' flash
Yeah,
is
I think
there.
that
Yeah,
is something I struggle with when objectives are down. I kind of just
yeah. So the way
don't really do much on the map.
Yeah,
So
and that's like a really common thing, really common thing with junglers to struggle with, even all the way to like master level. Like people really start like they take this Drake and they're like, oh, what the fuck do I do now? So again, this goes
yeah,
back to what I typed in the start. Carry jungler's main goal: make as much gold as possible, and that basically comes down to to like my main goal in the game, which is be as strong as possible for the Baron. So that's how I think about it. Be strong as possible for Baron. Because Baron is the one where kind of wins you the games. So how I approach this situation, okay, we just got some kills here. Now we have the numbers advantage. Again, I would be looking forward, can I maybe do something with this tier 2 again? Tier 2 turrets, really important. I would like to prioritize them. Tier 2 turrets on red lanes, got 600 gold. Essentially a double kill. And the other thing I can do is that the general thing I do is just like hit my camps, just be as strong as possible for the Baron fight. You know, just like get all these camps on cooldown, get some more money in this, in yourself. And just again the main point, funnel as much gold into you as possible. So obviously we kill some people here. You can look to invade camps here. Obviously there's no camps up here, so I'll just be hitting my camps. I'd be hitting my camps and waiting for the next objective. Yeah, it's kind of like the main goal on like mid game is like mid game game plan is usually play around objectives and just try to funnel as much into yourself as possible. Yep, the FF. But yep, that's pretty much all for today. I'm gonna send you the notes right now, and I'm gonna upload this to this VOD to YouTube and Patreon. I'm gonna send you the link as well, and I recommend you watch it again, like watch over it again, because it's a lot of information taken at like once, so you really need to watch over it again,
Yeah,
so something sticks. But yeah, so the main
definitely,
things,
definitely.
yeah. So the main things, the good things here is that um, maybe we did it kind of unintentionally, but some of the really good things we did here, for example, is that we look for the immediate play when we saw enemy jungler do a play. So again, it's like the tempo thing. Think of the tempo as moves. So that's something I want you to kind of like think about in next games. And also the recall on power spikes. So it's just recall a bit earlier. It's just like when you get the Dirk money, just look for a way to recall as soon as possible.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Like I saw in that game where that kinda was a little bit troll for me. Kinda messed my messed my tempo up a bit with the Rift Herald push.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like it's as big of a mistake or something which isn't really your skill level. It's just something we need to start working to get better, you know. So it's nothing to really worry about. But obviously, we want to kind of like identify these issues and then just keep improving. You know, that's how we get better at the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep, that's pretty much all. And yep, I'm looking forward to seeing you improve and good luck on your journey.
Thank you, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, once I get some sleep tomorrow, I'll try applying some of this and I'll tell you how it goes.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yep. Well, have a good day and see you later.
You as well.
Someone chatting in Twitch. Is it Twitch shadows? Tarkkaan nyt mä tiedän, missä sä asut. Hi, I want to offer promotion of your channel. Viewers, followers, views, share, surprises, lower than any company. Go to dogehype.com. Yeah, bro, I'll do it. Lane behavior. What the fuck?